Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Screening Room. Today I'm going to start by reading you one of my favorite passages. You ready? That one you have tried to kill many times, Rand said. That one who lost his kingdom? That one from whom you took everything? Lurching, bloodied from the sword strike to his side, the last king of the Malkiri stumbled to his feet. Lan thrust his hand into the air, holding by its hair the head of Demandred, general of the Shadow's armies. That man, Rand shouted. That man still fights. That is from A Memory of Light by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. It's near the end of an epic 14-book journey, and every time I hear it, I want to shout at the enemy, no matter what you throw at me, I will not quit. You can try to kill my spirit, but I will still fight. But if I'm being honest with you today, sometimes that fight doesn't look like a king on a battlefield. Sometimes it looks like a woman crying on her living room floor on a Friday night. Several years ago, I was working 4 10-hour shifts, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Tuesday through Friday. And that didn't even count my hour-long commute. By Friday nights, I was often emotionally, physically, and mentally drained. During that season of life, it wasn't uncommon for the enemy to work overtime on my family. Tensions would get high, and Chris and I would feel that friction and distance that sometimes just comes with the territory of marriage. I remember one specific evening where we ended on a negative note. He went to bed, and I stayed out in the living room crying and writing. In those moments of hurt, it was so hard to see beyond the pain. I found myself asking, why is it that we derive some sort of sick pleasure out of wallowing in our misery? I am a woman of many faults. Regardless of what is in my heart deep down, I have often struggled to be kind outwardly to my husband in the past. My tone. Oh, I've been so guilty of letting my emotions control my tone of voice. If I felt anxious, hurt, sad, or tired, my tone would become mean and sarcastic. Can anyone else see that pattern in their own life? But back then, just as it is now, there was a mystery in the reset. I knew that in the morning my perspective would be different. It is amazing what a few hours of sleep can do for the soul. I think God designed our bodies so uniquely that sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is go to sleep. I had to remind myself then, and I still have to remind myself now during conflict, that my spouse is not my enemy. Just because we have a restored marriage doesn't mean we won't fight. But knowing who the real enemy is and standing together with Chris to battle the true foe, it's a much better position than acting like he's the problem. The bottom line is this: I will not give up. I will keep trying. I may fall down, but I will get back up again because as it turns out, I am a fighter. I resisted that title for a long time. I felt like it was prideful. But I've realized there is a resiliency in me that comes because I trust Jesus. And once more, I go right back to the Lord of the Rings. There's a scene where Frodo is dying, pursued by the Nine Riders. In the movie, Arwen stands at the banks of the Ford of Bruinen. Maybe I'm saying that right, maybe I'm not. With a dying Frodo across her horse and the enemy closing in, she looks at them and says fiercely, "If you want him, come and claim him." Those are fighting words. I know I'm under constant attack from the arrows of an enemy who seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. This world is not as God intended it to be, but He gave us minds capable of choosing Him. He wants us to choose Him because of who He is. It's not lost on me that in our lives, Jesus is like Arwen. His blood covers us. When the enemy comes calling, and He will, Jesus steps in. His grace and mercy speak for us. And He says to the devil, "If you want her, come and claim her." And then God shows up. His waters rush in, too powerful for the enemy. We are covered by His blood, and nothing and nobody can extinguish that. It gives me chills to think that Jesus has stood at the fords of my deepest pain and my meanest, most sarcastic Friday nights and told the devil that if he wants me, he has to come and claim me from the grasp of God Himself. And God has proven over and over again that the devil is simply incapable of doing that. So whether you are bloodied like Lan Mandragoran or fading like Frodo at the river's edge, remember, the battle isn't over. You are still here. You are still fighting. and the one who holds the water is standing right beside you.